What's up, you guys? It's me again. My name is Baina. I'm here with another video. This video, we're going to talk about my spiritual awakening. That is actually my painting on the wall. So if you like it, you can look at my Instagram. If you want a painting, go to my Instagram at artinfact.97. I'm sorry, artinfact_97 on Instagram. If you want to see more of my art like that, but better, that's where you're going to go. Anyways, let's just jump right into the video. Quick disclaimer, I don't want to make this a video about what you should do and all that kind of stuff. As I say and have said in previous videos, you have the right to have your own experience and your own beliefs. I'm not here to tell you what you can believe in. Let's jump right into the video. Let's talk about my spiritual journey and what sparked my spiritual journey and how my spiritual awakening. Sorry, I've always on a spiritual journey. My spiritual awakening. This is about to get real. This is about to get real. This is about to get real, like knock on wood real. Okay? Oh my God, I'm just a fucking goofball. All right, so my spiritual journey has always been about obviously what? My spirit and me, right? My spiritual awakening happened twice. My first spiritual awakening happened when I was 12 years old. When my brother Joshua passed away, I had a spiritual journey. I had a spiritual awakening. Also known as a reality check. I realized that, damn, we don't have that much time on this planet and we can die at any moment. And my brother was only 24 when he passed away. And I was like, wow, that's very young because I'm only 12 years younger than that. So I was like, damn, I had a big reality check. After a few years went by, say 4 years, it just took me a while to feel comfortable. My brother was so important to me, and he was the oldest out of all of our siblings. And he had just came into Islam, and he started changing his life around. You know, he wanted to practice like Islam for real, and then he passed away during his transformation. Okay, so it's so cool because not cool that he passed away, but in a different aspect, it's pretty cool. Anyway, so my spiritual awakening happened twice. One was when I was 12, like I just said, and the other spiritual awakening I had when I was 18 years old. So let's talk about it. Let's get right into it. As I said in the previous two videos, I grew up very religious. And a lot of restrictions, a lot of you can't believe in this, you can't believe in that, you gotta do this, you gotta do that. My soul got tired. I had my first dark night of the soul is what they call it. And basically a dark night of the soul, you can look it up yourself. It's basically your soul going through its own little, it's basically your ego, like what you want because of other people and all that other kind of stuff versus what your soul needs. So this kind of friction between your soul and your ego mind, and it creates you to feel numb, dumb, and depressed and really awful, like you feel like you're going through. And this can happen for as long as you don't surrender to your soul. So to keep it simple, even though it's hard, when you're first going through your spiritual awakening, you have a episode that lasts for however long until you allow it. As long as you allow it to happen, that's how long it's going to, because you have to understand what you're going through. And if you don't understand it, you're not going to be able to get out of that dark night of the soul easier. Then again, people have suffered dark night of the soul for years off and on. And it does come back here and there. But as for me, mine lasted almost 2 years, and I just felt like shit. I felt like shit. Nothing was making sense. My religion wasn't making sense. How I felt wasn't making sense. My friendships were weird. People were treating me like shit. And I felt like shit. Regardless of people, it started happening when I was 17 up until I was 19 years old. I just felt like a piece of dookie. Nothing felt real. It was so bad, you guys. It was so bad that I wasn't even eating meals. I was just snacking and eating candy. Like I was deep depressed. The only thing that I did will listen to dark music, like music that talks about dying, like that kind of stuff, right? I would listen to that kind of stuff. I would just play my video game, go to work, come home, play my video game. Wasn't reading my Quran. Definitely wasn't praying, because how can you pray when you feel like a piece of shit, right? Exactly. Wasn't praying really that much. Everything just started to feel like I was collapsing in, I was just falling in. And then at a couple points, I did try to commit suicide, but nobody knew that, so I didn't really... I was scared to go to hell. Like, I don't want to die and go to hell. Like, no, I don't want to do that. So I never killed myself because I had that strong belief in hell back then. So I was like, hell no, I don't want to go there. I'm not killing myself. What the hell? But it was very scary because I was convinced that I really wanted to die. I didn't want to be on earth anymore. Whatever was going on with me was just not right. Like, something's just not fucking right. Like, it wasn't even and it didn't even involve like a boyfriend or anything. It just involved like me. Well, I wasn't really dating anyone then anyways, because I was still in my religion, but I did have a crush on a guy and he hurt me really bad. It kind of played into that too, it was kind of like a mixture of both. But yeah, after I got over that person though, I was still going through my own little spiritual conflicts. I would read the Quran, not feel satisfied. I would read the Bible, still not working. And my dreams were telling me things, and I was like, yo, I started astral projecting out of my body around like maybe 17, 18 years old, 19. Around the time I was having my dark night of the soul was when I started to experience out-of-body experiences. It was pretty dope. And I also started having sleep paralysis as well. So I was having like blissful experiences and I was having dark, negative experiences all at once. So, I started having stomach pains. I started having headaches. I started having a lot of physical things. I would go to the doctors and they would say, hey, your blood's fine. Nothing's wrong with you at all. Nothing is really wrong with you. Like, yes, the fuck there is. My stomach can't take food like regular, like anymore. Like, I don't know what am I supposed to eat? I went to the hospital like 3 times and they told me nothing was wrong. So I had to pay them bills, and I still have one more bill I have to pay, and it's 2023. But yeah, so I would go to the hospital and they would say nothing's wrong with me. And I'm like, okay, maybe it's just all in my brain then. Maybe there's just all in my brain. But it took me a while to try to get normal again. I stumbled across the video. It was talking about I started going into astrology. Well, I always was interested in astrology, but I started to go more into astrology deeper because I really wanted to understand my purpose on this planet, because I didn't believe that we were just created to die and go to hell or go to heaven. I couldn't understand or believe that was actually reality. Like, there's no way that that's true, right? I kept telling myself that there's no way that that's true. Like, there has to be something else besides this. So I was getting into astrology and I was like, oh my God, this makes so much sense. It actually makes sense. I feel like I have a purpose. I feel like things are actually make sense now, and this, that, and the other. And then I don't know why the lighting is getting so much darker. Like, let me just fix my, do this like this. Yeah. But yeah, I was like, everything just feels like it's getting better. I'm starting to feel like I know I have a purpose now. Like, astrology is really helping. It's really working for me. It's allowing me to see my weaknesses and my strengths. I could really use it as a guide to finding out my personality and things like that, which religion and other things have never taught me. Like, obviously, I relied on religion heavily to play a part in my life and to just take all my problems away. And that's not the way that you're supposed to go about doing these things. So, yeah. I got into astrology, and then I started reading about, like twin flames, stuff like that. I actually have a twin flame. He's a pain in the fucking ass. I had to say that because I just don't like him. Like, anyways, I loved him at first, but it's a long ass story any fucking ways. Yeah, I met him and I started to learn like what this person is just triggering me so much, and I'm able to see like all my bullshit with this person. and I'm tired of this person. So I was looking up like what he was an Aquarius. So I was like, okay, so let me look up Aquarius and Capricorn and see if they get along, because I'm a Capricorn. And I love being a Capricorn. I just love being a Capricorn. Anyways, but yeah, I was like, what is with our relationship? Why can't we talk? Why can't we do like simple things and make things work? Like, why is it so hard to have a conversation with this individual? Like, why? So I would start to look up, okay, so what is different between the Capricorn and the Aquarius man? Are they compatible? Which they're not really too compatible, but you can make anything work because you have other aspects in your chart. But I'm just like, why is this person not, why is it not working for us? So after I looked up Aquarius and Capricorn, I was like, okay, whatever. I'm not going to find any information that's going to tell me like how much we butt heads, because none of this information is telling me how much they will butt heads, because they're showing that they're compatible in a lot of ways, but then there's some ways that aren't. But the ways that wasn't ways that me and him were butting heads. It just wasn't the same way. So I'm like, there has to be something else. So I was like, you know what, forget it. I gave it up. I didn't even bother. Then I stumbled across, like I said, the twin flame video, and it was like, your soul is split into two different genders, and they're going to reflect all your issues and what you need to work on. And it's funny because I met him during the time my spiritual awakening just started, and then boom, it's like he ignited that. And then I started like, really going within myself, and then we would disconnect, connect, reconnect, disconnect all the time. So it was just like, this has to be my twin flame. To this day, we're not together, and I'm perfectly fine with it because I just don't want to be with him. But I'd rather have a soulmate. I don't really want to be with anyone, any twin flame of mine at all. But anyway, so that happened. I started getting like, synchronicities happen. People were just talking to me. I felt like God was really trying to teach me about myself. It's like when I would cry to the Creator about really wanting to be elevated in my spiritual journey, it would tell me, it would give me the most hardest challenges. And I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, I didn't ask for this. Like, I don't want to be like doing things that are uncomfortable. Like, I'm already uncomfortable. I want to be doing something that's going to make me feel closer to you. Why are you giving me all this bullshit? Like, people are being assholes to me. I feel really misunderstood. My parents are just like there, but not there. Like, why am I getting all this hate? Like, what? And I hated everyone just as much. Like, I hated people. I really did. Like, I was like, I don't like you. I hate you. Get away from me. I don't want to talk to anybody. I don't want a relationship. I was mean. Like, I was like really like, and I was still dressing as a Muslim too. This is what I'm saying. Like, I was still in my Muslim garb. I was still doing like, some of the rituals and some of the practices. I was still doing some of them, like praying sometimes and fasting. I would miss some prayers because of how I felt, but I was still trying to keep up my prayer. I was trying to keep up my practice. So, but I was still feeling all this shit. And I'm just like, see, this doesn't make any sense. If I'm practicing and I'm praying, why do I still feel off? This just doesn't make any fucking sense to me. So I was getting annoyed with God and myself. Like, I just don't want to do nothing. Like, just leave me alone. But I would ask, not even knowing, like, I was asking the Creator that I wanted to change and I wanted to be more spiritual and I felt more connected to it. But the challenges that I was getting, I wasn't understanding. Like, it wasn't connecting. Like, okay, I'm asking for assistance, but I'm still getting all these fucking challenges. Like, why? Right? And I know that, like, religion says, like, God will test you with everything, right? I just want the lighting to be a little lighter. For some reason, it's kind of dark, and I don't want it to be too dark. Maybe I'll turn on the light. Does that change anything? I mean, it just makes it a little bit darker, I guess. But we'll just leave the light on like this for now. I don't know. The sun is, like, moving, so it's not as light anymore. But yeah, so I'm just like, I don't understand what's going on. I keep getting more challenges, and God says that He'll test us with everything, but I don't feel like I'm being tested at this point. I just feel like God just wants me, or the devil, it just doesn't want me to be happy at this point. Like, there's no way I'm supposed to be happy at this point in my life. Like, nothing is working for me. Nothing, absolutely nothing. I'm not getting anywhere. No one wants to really connect with me. And I keep meeting people who are ticking me the fuck off. Like, everybody is really pissing me off. So I slowly started to accept the fact that I have fucking problems. Right? I mean, you would think that it's the outside world that has the issues, but it's actually you. And of course, every individual that has these issues, it looks like the whole world is in chaos. And it is in chaos because there's chaos within that individual. And when you have a collective of 10 billion people on the earth that all have these inner issues and they execute them into the world, it's a big mass of confusion. That's why that Michael Jackson song, when he says, if you want to make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and make a change. That's true. Because when you change what's within yourself and you observe like not really your mistakes, but your mishaps, your misbehavior, your tone of voice, how you speak and all that kind of stuff, and how you act and how you talk to yourself in your head, your higher self is your spiritual self is watching you talk to yourself in your head. You know, when you're talking and you have that conscious in the back of your head that's watching you talk, that's your spiritual side. But we don't really acknowledge that because we're too focused on what we want. You know, our ego is so big, you know, and that's the thing. Like, I had to get through my own shit, and there's still some residue. But for the most part, I had to get through my own shit, my own bullshit. You know, there was no, oh, I'm on my spiritual journey, butterflies and harmony and all that stuff. There's ups and downs of your spiritual journey, and there's always gonna be. But unlike these spiritual people on the websites and social media that be like, oh my God, everything's light and love, and I'm not fake like that. I'm just gonna give it to you raw and real because this is exactly how the universe works with human beings. It's gonna give you a lot of shit because it needs to show you what you need to work on. And if you do not accept the fact that you are a spirit that's in a human body that's been conditioned by beliefs of society, beliefs of parents, regardless of what time your spiritual journey happens, if you're meant to awaken in this life, it's not going to be easy at first. Like, it's not going to be rainbows and butterflies. And it's even harder for people who are stubborn. You know? You know? It's even harder for people who are stubborn and for people who just want to hurry up and get it over with. Again, me, stubborn, and I just want to hurry up and get to the highest levels of my spiritual side I can ever get. Like, I want to be above, like, who I was before. So, yeah, I really, I suffered a lot, and God started showing me himself through people. Yeah, the Creator started showing me himself through people. And that's when I realized, wow, I got happy when I realized that I was changing and I was feeling a lot better. But then once I started doing that, like I said in my previous video, I could no longer be around my parents. They were not changing. They had practiced Islam for over 30 years. They were not changing. They did not elevate in their spiritual growth because their religion kept them stuck. And this is why I'm saying religion isn't really strong when it comes to elevating your spirit, because it keeps you in a cycle of doing the same things over again. And whenever you do the same things ritually, even though it may seem like a good habit, there has to be some type of point where you just don't grow. And that's how religion is. And this is why I needed to leave it. And unbeknown to me, I wasn't expecting myself to leave my religion. Like I said in another video, I remember me looking at paperwork when I was like 15, and I always wrote like, I'm gonna always be Muslim. I love Allah, which I do love the Creator, obviously. But I worship and I acknowledge the Creator in a different way, a more harmonious way with who I am in my spirit. So yeah, I was just like, this is not easy for me. This is just not easy. It's not gonna be easy. And I couldn't be around my parents. I couldn't be around any of my siblings. I needed to leave. And the more angry I would get at them, I noticed like, I just can't do this anymore. Like, I literally can't be around y'all. Because what I'm seeing here, and I know I shouldn't be, judging them and their spiritual journey, but at the same token, they were always saying things like, God says to do this and do that, and you're supposed to be like this, and he wants to make you a better person, and this, that, and the other. But they would act, their condition of being a human being was not good, because they weren't working on their spiritual and their mental health. They were only doing the rituals that was being told to them to do through a book and through other scholars and other people who practiced the religion before them. So they were not growing in their spirituality. And so when I was growing in my spirituality, I noticed these people are not, my family members were not growing the way that I assumed they should have been. I'm just like, wow, once God opened my eyes, once my higher self was awakened and I consciously knew that this life is not what we think it is, and people that practice these religions are just not really getting the meat of it. I was just like, wow, I can't. And it would have been fine if they accepted my change. But me knowing that I know once I come out of my religion, they're not going to accept me living with them because I'm supposed to be. Yeah, that kind of thing. So, I was like, oh, that hurts really bad. And I was like, yeah, no, I'm not going to be able to live with my parents and my grandma, my siblings anymore, because they're going to think a lot about me, and I'm not going to be able to feel comfortable. It's going to be a very uncomfortable house, so I'm going to have to move out. So I was just starting to think, I need a change. I kept asking the universe, okay, well, you allowed me to understand now what I'm going through. And thank God I was able to look up, because I thought I was going fucking crazy. I remember me going online and just looking up, why do I feel dead inside, or like depression and all this different kind of stuff. And each thing that I looked up, somehow I was led to like a spiritual aspect of it. And I was like, why I always keep getting led to a spiritual part of my life? Like, it's always that. Not that I was avoiding it, because it's something I've always wanted. But it's just like everything that I looked up, somehow I eventually started to get the spiritual aspect of it at the end of the day. And I loved it. I started watching Infinite Waters or Ralph Smart. I started watching Spiritual Soul. I started watching Trend Genius. You guys can look them up on YouTube. They're very good, life coach. Not really spiritual soul. He's not really a life coach, but Infinite Waters, or AKA Ralph Smart, and Trend Genius is definitely a life coach. But I was just like, I started coming across their videos and some other people's videos saying you're not going crazy. Literally, they would have verbatim, you're not going crazy. It's just a spiritual awakening. And I'm like, what the hell is that? So I would look up all the symptoms. Every symptom, all the symptoms of what they were saying about what your body goes through is what I was going through. And there was even a video that I watched that said when they went to the doctors told them that there was nothing wrong with them. And I'm like, that's exactly what the fuck happened to me. They could not pinpoint what was wrong with me physically, but I was going through all these physical pains. And I will definitely make a video about the spiritual awakening symptoms, because this is exactly what I was going through. I just could not explain what was wrong with me. So I fell in love and I was happy that I wasn't going crazy. I remember me crying like out of joy. Like, I'm just so happy that I'm not actually going crazy. And there's people out here who actually left their religion because of these reasons, and also who have been going through the same thing I was going through. And this is what inspires me today to make these videos. So the next person that comes across these kind of videos, I'm actually one of the people who's saying the same thing, and they can feel much more secure in making their decisions to either leave religion or just confirm that they're not going fucking crazy. But yeah, that's basically it. I do have some things I still want to talk about. And I do have some things I have to do today, because tomorrow I'm going to Texas. I'm really excited. I'm kind of nervous. I've never traveled by myself before, and I did make some of the videos of that yesterday. I did do like some of my packing videos for my vlog, because this channel is going to be about my traveling, my travel physically and my travel spiritually, if that makes any sense. So yeah, I really just wanted to get that out, that I was just going through my own spiritual awakening, and I was triggered by a lot of different things. My dreams increased a lot. I started to, well, I've always, had some part of me that knew I was dreaming, but my dreams started to become more and more, vivid. But anyway, we're going to talk about that in the next video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please like, share, and subscribe. I'm getting a lot better at saying that because I'm not used to saying it. And I'll see you guys in the next video, where I talk about spiritual awakening symptoms and my experiences with my spiritual awakening. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a good day. Have a blessed day. Be light, be loved, be humble. Sit down. Peace.